Apostles, Father Jim Barron here. Thanks for tuning into this Fireside. It has been a couple months since the last Fireside, and it's been a busy couple months. Although we haven't had a lot of normal parish activities, there has been a lot going on at Holy Apostles, and most of it's behind the scenes. Some of the public events that we've been able to celebrate this summer are our First Communion Mass for our First Communion children and their families. We were able to offer the sacraments of initiation for many of our families who went through RCIA. And just next week, we're going to be offering confirmation for our parish youth and for a number of adults who also went through the RCIA process and still need that sacrament. So we've been continuing our regular Mass and confession schedule and a number of other activities throughout the summer. Those are some highlights of our sacramental and liturgical life. This summer, we were blessed to have Thomas Presley, a seminarian for our diocese, here with us at the parish. Holy Apostles is his official home parish, and we actually were able to welcome his family who moved here from Texas. We look forward to having Thomas with us again over Christmas break when he returns at the semester from the seminary. We've had a few staff changes over the last number of months from the spring throughout the summer. One of those staff changes was our Director of Stewardship and Development, Ms. Jamil Moody. She stepped away to be a full-time mom. I had the privilege of baptizing her son, and we're happy to see her take on that role as a full-time mom with her husband Mike, as they're going to be great parents. They already are. The vacancy in that position left us with an opportunity to reconsider how that position fit within the overall life of the parish. And after having interviewed and looked around to fill that position directly, we decided that it would be better to split the position up into a few different areas and share that amongst current and present talent in the parish. And so we have three staff changes that I would like to formally announce and introduce. You'll be able to follow up on these in the bulletin, but right now I'd like to share with you that we're going to have our parish life coordinator who will be responsible for overseeing our various stewardship initiatives, the hospitality and the welcoming experience in the parish, and overlooking a number of different areas that have to do with either development or other bequests and plan giving, but especially a feel of hospitality and stewardship in the parish. That's going to be the main job of the parish life coordinator, and that position has been taken on by Miss Rosemary Oblon. She's a very familiar face. If you don't know who she is, she's usually the one smiling and welcoming everybody along with the hospitality team out in front of the church before and after Masses on the weekends and throughout the week. So she's a great fit, and we're very excited to have her take on that position. We're going to split some of the other responsibilities into a communications coordinator position, and this will be taken on as a full-time position by Kathleen McCarty. She had been our full-time parish secretary, but she's going to take on more of these responsibilities, which will include things that she had already been doing, like managing the website and the bulletin and updating social media and keeping the parish updated through Flocknote, especially about last-minute events or changes. But she's going to be exploring a lot more in this area with overseeing the life of the communications in the parish amongst all of our departments, but then also internally. The world in which we live really depends more and more on online and digital communications. And so she'll be able to take this on, and she's got a great talent and a love for this already. And so I think she's going to be a perfect fit for that position. Taking over a number of the parish secretary responsibilities and receptionist work is going to be Mrs. Sherry Sleminski, who has already been working with us as a part-time front desk receptionist help and volunteer coordinator. She's bravely rolling up her sleeves to learn a lot of new things in the parish, and so I'm very grateful for her and to her for her bravery in taking this position on. But I think these three people are incredibly talented, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they grow and expand these roles with their own gifts. We are still in the process of interviewing for a youth coordinator, so please keep that process in your prayers, that we can find the right person to help lead our youth, especially to encounter Christ and help form them as missionary disciples. For all of these things, please also stay tuned to the bulletin and the website, as things will be updated. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to approach me or these staff members, and they can tell you a bit more about what this is going to look like. All of these, of course, will be repeated and updated on at our usual State of the Parish presentation coming up in the fall, probably in mid-November. With stewardship and COVID, obviously, these last number of months, everything's been displaced and offset. We're going to be re-beginning our stewardship year coming up at the end of this month of August, and we're going to be condensing our Stewardship of Prayer and Stewardship of Faith commitment weekends. Obviously, some of those opportunities are going to be a little different, and some are going to be just unavailable as they had in the past for such commitments of ways to be stewards of our prayer lives and growth in our faith lives. So Kathleen, Rosemary, and I are going to be working to make sure that we not only have accurate and up-to-date information on these various stewardship opportunities of prayer and faith, but also that we have an opportunity to make sure that our folks at home can participate in this commitment, that those who are not yet comfortable coming back to church can still participate in this commitment weekend. So please stay tuned and for future firesides and bulletin information with that. But we're going to, again, combine the Stewardship of Prayer and Stewardship of Faith in August. We will have our Stewardship of Finances as usual in October. Then we'll be visiting our Stewardship of Vocations in December. After the new year, we're going to be looking at the calendar for the rest of our stewardship commitment weekends. But that really is an important expression of discipleship in our parish, and it's really borne a lot of fruit. And so we're not leaving it, but we're rather going to adapt it and begin at the end of this month to make sure that we are really able to commit in those different ways to be good stewards of those gifts that God has given to us. Speaking of stewardship, we are blessed to be able to be stewards of 40 children and their families in our preschool. We have our preschool starting this coming week, and I want to say a big welcome back to those families and our friends. We have some families who are going to wait and see after the first few months to determine how the different. We have a few families that are on the waiting list, are going to wait and see for the first few months to see how preschool reopens and how school goes, and if anything changes with the coronavirus situation. But for those families who are kind of waiting or who are unsure if you want to come back or not, please let us know if you have any questions or what we can do to support you. We want you to know that you're always welcome, and that anybody who is interested in coming back down the road, we have a waiting list that, of course, will have to be first come, first serve, but we definitely want to make sure that the preschool is available for all of our families as we are able to accommodate. We are going to be continuing faith formation beginning this fall with the academic year, but it's going to look a little different than normal. Our first Sunday family faith formation up until January will all be online. Mike Iverson and our faith formation volunteers and department, they have been working hard to find ways to make sure that parents have the resources to continue forming their families, educating their children in the faith from home. And so keep an eye on the bulletin for information, opportunities, and signups. This is, again, going to be a little different than usual for the first couple months. Hopefully we can go back to normal in January, but please be on the lookout for an increased opportunities in online video and digital content to help support families who are really the first place of teaching their children in the faith. Our RCIA process is going to continue to meet in person. That is a weekly program, and that's a lot more difficult to do remotely, especially because it has to do with engaging people in their questions. Of course, this is going to be done in such a way where everybody will be able to spread out in the room, and we're going to make every consideration for safety protocols as possible. We will try to make sure at least a portion of these classes are available online. We have reformatted a little bit of how these classes are going to look. So for the first 6 to 8 weeks, there's going to be a bit more of a basics of the faith approach and some apologetics and some simple foundational conversations to help build upon or to be built upon later. This first 6 to 8 weeks approach will then end with a time of greater discernment for somebody who's had some time to ask questions, poke and prod at some of the basics of the Catholic faith, and then make a formal decision to commit and then enter into the catechetical process, or the catechumenate specifically, which begins with the rite of welcome, and that'll happen in November. But these classes are not just meant for those who are not Catholic or who are coming back to the Catholic faith. We want to make a special point of opening them up to everybody, especially Catholics. Maybe you want to supplement or re-solidify your understanding of the faith. Maybe you didn't have a great experience of faith formation, and this is a way to engage it once more. Maybe you want to come along and walk with those who are learning about the Catholic faith for the first time, perhaps serving as a sponsor or just a friend along the way. This is a great expression of discipleship, and this is a wonderful opportunity to not only learn, but also help others to learn and help others to walk with God and to come to know who He is. And so please consider these classes open to everybody. If you know somebody that might be somewhat interested in the Catholic faith, maybe is on the fence, let them know about these classes that are coming up and encourage them to just show up, see what it is, see if it's for them. As I said, we're going to try to provide some video content for people who can log in remotely. It's not going to be the same thing, and it won't supplement or take the place of participating in these classes. But for somebody who may not be comfortable in group settings yet, or may still be really on the fence, maybe just on the other side of the fence, they can see this in a very neutral way and start to assess, is this something they want to engage more? We'll have this annual, the school year timeline for the RCIA process, but then we're also going to offer it again in the spring through the summer. So this time starting in the fall, we want to again invite everybody that is able to come or wants to come, Catholic or non-Catholic, and then we'll be able to do the same thing again for those who weren't able to join us starting in the fall, or who would like to go through it again maybe in the springtime, summertime. So please, again, stay tuned with the bulletin and on the website for more information on that. Also for our sacramental preparation courses, First Reconciliation, First Communion, please keep in touch with the bulletin for announcements on what that is going to look like this year. Ms. Peggy is going to be getting some information out for our families, just so they also know what to expect. A couple other housekeeping items. We've obviously not been singing over the last number of months, partly because the respiration and the masks and all of that, but also with the pew missals. We've quarantined those pew missals and have kept those in a back room. Over the next couple weeks, you're going to see tables of the 2020 pew missals out. Feel free to take them. Those are free for you to grab. And we're going to start reintroducing singing little by little into the masses, but the pew missals from last year are going to be free and up for grabs. If you take one, that becomes yours. Please write your name in it and take it home with you. We're not going to be keeping anything in the pews because, again, we have to sterilize the pews after masses. We clean up everything between masses. And so if you do take a pew missal, then please consider that to be your own. In the fall, we're going to be ordering new pew missals for the next year that hopefully we can use come the holidays and even in the springtime. But in the meantime, we're going to be ordering these and making these available for purchase. They'll be about $5 per book. And so if you and members of your family would like to purchase one, these will also be available to help us throughout the rest of the year. Those would also be your family's copy. So you could decorate it, you could write your names on it, bring it with you to church. This is not something that Catholics are really used to. A lot of our Protestant brothers and sisters are used to bringing a Bible, maybe even a hymnal with them to church on Sundays. Perhaps this might be a new way of doing things, that if we are able to provide these pew missals for a reasonable amount of money, $5 is pretty good, I think. Then maybe that's something that we could build in the habit of, and folks bringing their pew missal with them, and that'll just help to keep one extra thing that might be a magnet for germs out of the picture, where people can just look out for their own, take care of it, bring it home, bring it with them, maybe even review some of the Sunday Mass readings because they include those Mass readings in them as well. So, again, please keep an eye out for those as they make their appearance. The ones that are going to be out, you'll see signs that are just free for the taking. The next round for starting in Advent of 2020, those are going to be available for purchase. But those are just a few housekeeping items. There's a lot more to talk about. We're going to be having some leadership meetings available for different ministry and apostolate leaders to participate in, to give updates on some of the conversations that the parish council, the staff, and I have been having about the overall focus of the parish on developing a culture of missionary discipleship. This is a theme that we're going to be not only revisiting, but is going to become more and more of a pervasive and regular theme in the life of the parish. Our parish mission statement has been encountering Christ, making disciples. To create a culture of missionary disciples is to expand that, unpack that, to live that out in the everyday activities and intentionality, or the attitudes of the parish. There's a lot of great stuff being talked about and a lot of movement in an exciting direction. And it's not just at Holy Apostles, actually. There are other parishes around the country and different pastors and theologians and people throughout the world who are really kind of cueing in on this idea of refocusing on the nature of evangelization and missionary discipleship as the primary task of a parish, and everything else emanates out from that. We have our encountering Christ in the sacraments, in the liturgy, in evangelization, in community, but then also how those things and how intentional formation helps us to make disciples who then go out into the world to sanctify it, but also help to spread that gospel in their day-to-day lives in very natural ways, in ways through friendship and personal witness, to be able to engage the culture and to evangelize it from the inside. So again, there's a lot more to say, and a lot more will continue to be said over these next weeks as we go deeper. But please also, if you're involved in a ministry or in an apostolate, check out the bulletin in the next couple weeks for a list of dates and opportunities to come in and participate in this conversation and to get more information and also formation. We want to help form our leaders in the parish to be able to do this and to help that self-perpetuating culture of missionary discipleship. I'd ask everybody to please, please, please pray for this. I am convinced that the Holy Spirit is behind this, that he is up to something really inspiring and exciting and creative, and perhaps even a little offsetting and maybe even a little terrifying. But that's good. If our vision isn't so big that it doesn't scare us a little bit, then we have to ask, are we thinking big enough? Because when it scares us, then God really has an opportunity to work and to show his glory through our efforts, even as small as they might be. One final thing just for everybody to be aware of and to hopefully come and participate. After the 9 a.m. Mass next Sunday, August 16th, the parish will be celebrating Father Lawrence's 25th anniversary as a priest. 25 years of service as a priest is something great to celebrate. And there will be some cake and other refreshments outside on the lawn behind Mary's house after the 9 a.m. Mass. So please come and join us for that. If you happen to see Father Lawrence, if you're able to join us for that or see him in passing any other time, feel free to wish him a happy 25th anniversary. All right, well, that's all I've got for right now, but thanks so much for tuning in, for your goodness, for your prayers, and for supporting our parish. Holy Apostles is an awesome place with excellent, wonderful, admirable, and very, very good people, and it's a privilege to be able to serve you. God bless you, and take care.